we look at a fundraiser for the Under Pressure Graffiti Festival, a walking tour held by Pervers Cite, and a dispute over land in a native community right now on CUTV News. Welcome to CUTV News. This is Elsa. This week we were at Oka, but first, the Montreal community is getting ready for Under Pressure. The Graffiti Festival will be shared between Pierce Park and Les Foufounes Électriques on August 14th and 15th. Organizers held a fundraiser last Saturday to keep the event going. Our reporter Yiota Arahuntu hit NDG breakdance battle to find out what's in store for us this year. Here's the story.
Under Pressure is gearing up for its 15th birthday. There's a lot of events planned for the Graffiti Fest B-Day Bash, like today's NDG breakdance battle. A crowd of all ages showed up for the event, proving that graffiti and hip-hop are art forms that bring people together.
Under Pressure, I mean, as you said, it's been going on for 15 years, so it started out as a one-day event, and it's blown up into it's 2 full days. We do Saturday, we also work in conjunction with the city, Saturday during the day. We run out of Peace Park, and on Sunday, we're at Foufounes Électriques. So it's a totally community-run event, everybody. It's all volunteers, so that's why we've had the power to keep going for 15 years. At Under Pressure this Sunday, we have a huge hip-hop show with J Live and Rob Swift coming in from New York, but we'll also have a ramp battle that's going to be happening inside the Foufounes Électriques, and that's organized by No Damn Goods. So our hip-hop shows and our hip-hop events, I mean, they're not just hip-hop events. It's a community event, and it represents the many different aspects of, you know, if you want to call it the hip-hop community, which involves graffiti, hip-hop, MC, DJing, and then we've got, you know, we've incorporated the skateboarding and electro community into it as well, because everybody is here for the same reason. We're trying to promote awareness. So while clearly the city has to, you know, give money to cleaning up graffiti, what we're trying to do is have an education about positive graffiti and positive youth development through shared space and respect for the shared space. So what we're trying to do is, instead of trying to erase a problem, which there's a lot more to the message on the wall than just thinking that you can erase it and it'll go away. What we're trying to do is get a dialogue between the community of graffiti writers as well as the city of Montreal. And if we can, you know, have some kind of an understanding and a respect between the two of them, then that would just be what we're working towards, is a more positive environment for everybody.
Police and city officials are putting the pressure on graffiti. The city has invested millions of dollars to clean up the streets in Montreal. But for Under Pressure, graffiti isn't vandalism, it's art. For CUTV, I'm Yiota.
On Thursday last week, CUTV was at the historical walking tour of Queer Montreal hosted by Pervers Cite. They marched through the streets of downtown Montreal in order to raise awareness for the queer society. Here's a sneak peek.
It is Thursday, August 5th. We are at the historical walking tour of Queer Montreal. As you can see behind me, people are gathered here about to begin the parade for Pervers Cite, an organization that is less corporatized than the mainstream queer known as Divers Cite. We are at Guy and Maisonneuve, where the parade will begin, and it will end at Cabaret Faux.
My name is Josh, and I'm helping with the Queer Historical Walking Tour, which is part of Pervers Cite's programming for this year. We just think that Divers Cite kind of diverged from its roots, from you know, being about commemorating a night when queers were beaten up by police, and remembering the kind of political awareness and desire for action and change that inspired. And that kind of that message got muted as Divers Cite became more about partying, became more about the village, became more centered in a particular kind of queer lifestyle that many of the most marginalized members of our community never get to participate in. So Pervers Cite is about inviting those more marginalized queers to participate in the celebration, but also to remember the roots of Pervers Cite. And the roots were about fighting back, they were about claiming public space where it was okay to be gay, where it's okay to party and have fun. And so that's why I think Pervers Cite is so great, because it's a really fun festival, but it's got a really cool message, and everyone's invited.
There was 1,500 people in attendance. They walked from Champ-de-Mars Metro all the way to Parc La Fontaine. So the flyer that we were showing you guys in the beginning for the police brutality, that's basically what this event was all about. So 1991 is when it happened, and then so they walked there, and that became this became an annual march. So 1991 is what this leaflet is for. And then 1992, the organizer of the protest got together with some female, and they created the events known as Divers Cite. So Divers Cite has gone a long way. It started off as this, and now it's this huge
crazy party.
Exactly, crazy party that has nothing to do with gay rights or police brutality. So now we're going to go on our way. Well, we did, and we made Pervers Cite.
Do you think the historical facts of the gay community in Montreal are fading away from people's minds? And if so, are you trying to keep it alive?
I think a lot of queer history is a bit ephemeral. You know, a lot of times it's out of necessity because we were in the closet, or whatever metaphor you want to use. We weren't writing down our stories. We weren't advertising our events. A lot of it happened behind closed doors. So a lot of that history, you know, will fade. There are some oral history projects that are in the works. We have Les Archives Gays, and we collect lots of documents from the community. The impetus, though, is really on the people who live these events, right?
After the parade today, what impact do you want to have on people's mind about the gay community?
If anything, I hope that the tour allowed people to appreciate how this sort of fragmentary approach to understanding our history, you know, the fact that we don't have one consistent tale of repression bad to fighting back okay to liberation. I hope the fact that people can appreciate how we've had to always be fighting and always winning and losing, and how we've lost and we've gained certain kinds of spaces in the last 80 years. I hope that can give them, I hope that's through appreciating that, they can realize how we still actually aren't necessarily at a point that's better than when we were at in 1950. And if they can realize that, they'll start to look more critically at where we are right now, and not just accept things that they're being told are okay and represent liberation to actually mean liberation.
We are at the end of the historical walking tour of Queer Montreal. This has been Arian for CUTV News.
In 1990, the Mohawk community of Kanehsatake endured a 78-day armed standoff with the Sûreté du Québec and the Canadian Armed Forces, which came to be known as the Oka Crisis. The conflict erupted after the municipality of Oka approved plans to expand a golf course over a 300-year-old native burial ground. 20 years later, new plans for a non-native housing project on the same land have brought the issue to the forefront. CUTV correspondent Clifton Nicholas brings us to Kanehsatake to get more on this story.
A Quebec-based company, Norfolk Financial, plans to cut trees and construct luxury homes on land that is part of the Kanehsatake Mohawk territory. This land lies directly across from the pine forest and the cemetery and beside the Onondaga Substance Abuse Treatment Center. This land is part of the lands that were at the center of the 1990 crisis. CUTV was there covering the situation this morning when representatives tried to come to Kanehsatake and begin cutting trees. Paul Nicholas of the Mohawk Council of Kanehsatake. What do you think about the situation here today?
I think what's going on is the promoter, the developer of the property that's in question is trying to create a little bit of media attention, a little bit of a buzz to get his point of view across. He's trying to, I guess, stir up emotions in the community to get things moving quicker, to get his, I guess, increase the value of his property. So he's trying to do that, I guess, at our expense as well.
Could you briefly explain exactly what he plans to do?
He was planning to develop the property across from the Pines next to the Onondaga Treatment Center. However, recent I guess actions from the municipality of Oka have put a halt to that. He's been able to, the municipality's been working to put an injunction or a freeze on the property so that they would not be able to develop it. That's taken place, I guess, over the last 10 days or so, and I believe the promoter is not happy with that.
We're gonna stop being polite.
I never touched you.
We're being fucking polite. You understand? We're polite right now. You don't know us when we're mad. This is just what you're gonna get. You understand?
Are we civilized?
You're shaking. No, you're not civilized. You know we don't want you here, and you're still here. So you tell me who's the savage.
Still a little pissed off. I feel like he manipulated the whole community into his little stunt, his media stunt, and it's hard not to get mixed up in it because, you know, 20 years is still like yesterday when all this starts again. It was just a warning. We're not gonna, it's not a dispute on our part. We know it's ours. You know, they can dispute amongst themselves who it belongs to, but we know it's ours. And that's just what we have to send the message. It's ours, and it always was, and it always will be. I don't care who he paid or what he paid for it. He just, he can't be here. He just has to accept that he bought stolen property.
20 years after the 1990 Oka Crisis, this land issue remains unresolved. I'm Clifton Nicholas for CUTV.
Thanks for tuning in to CUTV, and don't forget to add us on Twitter at CUTV Montreal. I'm Elsa. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.